Welcome back to the gold mine. Well, we're not exactly at the gold mine yet. We have to do a pit stop at the blacksmith shop. I need to drop off this bucket of railroad spikes. My sister-in-law picked them up in New York when she was up there. Thanks, sister-in-law. And I also wanted to pick up 3 pieces of rebar from the blacksmith shop because we're going to try to re-secure the railroad track down in the mine. And we need some rebar. And we're going to go ahead and fire up the forge real quick because I do want to bend the end of this rebar, make it look more like a hook to help hold down the railroad track. But I'll show you that when we install it. All right, we have all 3 of these bent up, looking kind of like tent stakes. That should be good enough for what we're trying to accomplish. Go ahead and shut the forge off and cool these things down. We're just going to quench them in water real quick. Might as well just do them both at once. Perfect. We can carefully throw these back in the truck and we're ready to go to the gold mine. Sure looks like a nice day to go underground to do some digging. We made it. Well, we haven't been up at the Rusty Pail gold mine in quite a while. Usually wintertime, it's nice here, but in the spring it gets so wet, it's always flooded. Looks like everything is pretty much where it belongs. I don't see anything obviously broken or missing. That's always good. We need to go ahead and turn on the generator, plug everything in, and get our ventilator running. And that's going to pump fresh air down this pipe across there and down into the mine. Ugh. And then we need to open up the mine and check it out, make sure everything's good. Then we'll get busy. So we do run the mine off of a generator. I just take this extension cord and chuck it down the hill, plug her in, and we're ready to get to work. The good thing about gold mining, you don't need a lot of tools once you get up here. We have our electric jackhammer. We have a sledgehammer because we need to work on the railroad tracks. I have a wide bit for the jackhammer in case we find some soft stuff to dig in. And these are the stakes we made at the blacksmith shop to hold down the railroad track. We also need gloves. You always need gloves. And we have a particle mask, so when we're jackhammering, we're not breathing in any of that nasty stuff. Let's get the mine opened up. Hello? Anybody down there? I don't see anybody. We also got to put on our OSHA approved safety harness. Check. And we'll hook that up to our fall protection cable that's here on the head frame. And we need to turn our light on. Make sure it works before we head down in the tunnel. I think we're ready to go. Now, usually I would climb down first and just check for any animals or anything down there. But I think we're just going to send the ore cart down and say it's good enough. Also, we have a little camera here on our light. We're going to go ahead and turn that thing on. With any luck, it's recording also. And it should record whatever I'm looking at, I hope. All right. Hook the thing to the thing, give it a little crank. get down there. Now I like to go down slowly the first time, just to look for any spiders or snakes or anything out of the ordinary. So there's always spider webs behind these handles, and you just don't want to grab into a big old spider. Looks pretty good. Then we get down to the 8-foot mark. We do the same thing. We look in all the little cubby holes. Look for anything gross. There are a lot of mosquitoes down here. I don't like mosquitoes, but I do think let the ventilator run for a little bit. It'll blow them all out. Maybe. I also like to look under these little ledges here, make sure we don't have anything that's going to jump out and scare the crap out of us. And then we'll walk back there and check everything out, make sure air is coming out of the ventilator. It's a little bit of a process when we first get started, but it'll pick up in a few minutes. So what happens down here during the rainy season, this entire drift tunnel gets full of water. I've seen it up to 6 feet in here. The whole tunnel gets full, and this railroad track floats off of the base and gets all janky in here. So we're going to take these little spikes that we made and drive them down to help hold the track down. I don't know if I can film it or not, but we'll try. We'll just use our helmet cam. Of course, it's going to hit rock. Yeah, it's pretty much solid rock down there. We might have to come up with a different plan. Maybe we'll try it right here. Again, the same thing. We're hitting rock. That is not going to work. All right, well, we tried to drive our rebar stakes in to hold this track down, but we're hitting solid rock. We're going to need something a little stronger to get that done. So we're going to do the right thing and not do anything about it. Let's go ahead and get our ore cart back here and set up with the jackhammer. That sounds like a plan. There are so many mosquitoes and gnats down here. I'm going to go ahead and put my mask on because I keep breathing them in. That's not good. All right, that'll cut down on the number of bugs we swallow. Before we fire up the jackhammer, let's go inspect the back of the cave. Make sure we don't have anything weird going on back here. I also want to make sure we have air coming out. Air's coming out, that's good. There are bugs everywhere. Man, look at that quartz vein right along here. Look at all those mosquitoes. I don't know if you can see that or not. As soon as we fire up the jackhammer, it should skid them all out of here. We have some kind of little salamander looking thing. All right. Time to put our gloves on. Pull down our visor a little bit. I would like to use the wide thing, see if we can clean up that tunnel. A little ragged. Good enough. All right. So this is what we've been following. This quartz vein. You see it running through here. We have another one down here. And I think there's a third one right along the floor. I want to clean up this roof a little bit. I don't know why. All right, we're going to get our little blade and clean that up in a minute. That's a lot of work. All right, well, that's a lot of work, but we're going to keep at it for a little bit. All right, well, that's a lot of work, but we're going to keep at it for a little bit. Probably a bad spot for you guys to be. All right, that's good enough for the first round of jackhammering. Let's get the light up out of your face. Now we got to get our trusted mucking shovel, get in there with the ore cart, and clean it out. So we have a few creatures down here. We have this salamander. He's about 8 inches long or so. And then I saw his little buddy over here somewhere. There he is. Look at this little guy. That looks kind of fun. Anybody hungry yet? We got our ore cart and mucking shovel in position. We have all this material back here. Let's get busy. Now I'm not sure how good that's going to come out, but it's okay. Let's get this camera down a little bit more. Man. So I wonder what Jeff Williams is doing today. I'm sure he's out west, finding shiny, left and right. Tell you what, a couple hours of this, you don't need to go to the gym. You won't even want to go to the gym. I'm actually pretty amazed how dry it is down here. I know it was flooded a few days ago. We got lots of iron, lots of sulfur. You can tell by the yellow streaks through here. That's sulfur, I think. Quartz. We got quartz. Man, some of these rocks look pretty good. I think that's schist. Is schist good? We don't know. Ooh, look at this one. It's got sparkly bits in it. I think it's mostly mica, but we don't know. I'm wearing my SpaceX shirt today. I got the, I don't know, the Starship, the big rocket. It's amazing. You go through clothes so quick, gold mining. Everything has holes in it. So eventually you just get the next oldest thing in the closet, and that's what you wear. But don't worry, it will have holes in it soon also. Oh, my goodness. All right, I think our cart's just about full. Maybe a couple more shovelfuls. All right, that's pretty good. We'll just leave our shovel right here. We're gonna need that in a few minutes. Let's get you guys in here real quick. Man, I am worn out. All right, so back here on the back, we have a bunch of this iron and quartz, mostly schist. It does have pockets of yellow clay. And there's these veins that look almost like sulfur. I'm not sure if that's going to show up on camera. But lots and lots of mica, lots of quartz, lots of bugs. And let me try to get the camera level here. So all the striations in this ground are going at about a 45 to 50 degree angle that way. We want to keep going that way so we can stay underneath that quartz vein. So we'll slowly keep turning the drift to stay underneath it. All right, let's push our cart back to the other end of the drift, back there somewhere, and get up to the surface and have some water. Dump this cart and come back and do it again. Now we didn't get our cart fully secured to the track, and if it falls off, it's gonna be hard putting it back on. Oh my goodness. Luckily it stays on better when it's full. Come on, cart. We're almost there. All right, we made it. So we're underneath the hoist point. We'll get the cable reattached. We gotta hoist that cart all the way to the top. You see it up there? And then we gotta go back down this drift and get at least one more. All right, you guys ride the cart up. I'll meet you up there. Gotta put our safety line back on, because nobody wants to fall down a mine shaft. You'd only do that once. Sure we're on-ish. All right, and we're ready to go again. But I think we're going to take a break, have a little bit of water, because I am soaking wet. Pretty much we know we're done gold mining when we're out of drinkable water. That's pretty much the limiting factor on when we got to go. Got to check out my rusty Pail Goldmine sign, make sure it's still holding in there okay. Looks good. Uh-oh. Got a little bit of a hole in the bucket. But the good thing about gold mining for yourself, you're not really in a hurry. You go down and dig a little bit, come up here, take a nap, then go back down and dig some more. All right, we're back down here. Round 2. Definitely not happy with my train track situation. All right, get our light back on. Got some more digging to do. Now I like to try to keep the ground nice and clean under my feet so I don't twist an ankle on these rocks while you're turning around all the time. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. My goodness. So much easier using the excavator or something else. This is probably the hardest activity I have on the mountain. Gold mining. That's probably why gold's so expensive. It's not easy to find and a lot of digging involved. We don't know. We're just having fun. I think the first time when you first get down here and you start jackhammering, your body goes into shock and it's saying, "What are you trying to do to me? Kill me?" And you start sweating, breathing hard, you know, things like that. And then you stop the jackhammering and start the shoveling, and then your body says, "What the hell are you trying to do to me?" And you start sweating more and breathing harder. But I think by the second time you come down and start shoveling, your body's finally decided it must already be dead, and it kind of just goes lethargic. And yeah, it's easy after that. You just gotta let go. Ooh, look at those big rocks. Those look pretty nice. We'll take a look at some of this stuff when we get up on surface. I try not to spend too much time down here looking at rocks, or I won't get any digging done. It is a holiday weekend. Wonder what Vice Grip Garage is doing this weekend. I'm sure they have a car show or something to go to. Man. Alright, what I said a little while ago isn't true. It's just as hard the second time, and the third, and the fourth. There's no easy ones down here. So I've watched some other drift mine operations like Jeff Williams, he has an ore cart that stays down in the mine all the time, and then he uses a skip bucket to hoist to the surface. I don't know what his surface situation is up there. I'm guessing he can dump it immediately from the head frame, but our situation, we have to roll the cart probably a good 50 feet. Look at that iron. Yeah, that's some good stuff there. So to me it seemed like it was easier not to unload the ore twice, just to get it down there and do it once. There's a big rock, look at that. Yeah, there's gonna be gold in that for sure. It's got some white schist across the top, some black stuff, probably iron or magnetite, a little bit of quartz on the top maybe. We'll put it in the bucket and look at it later. I'm running out of stuff to put in the bucket. You might think that's a good thing, but all that means is that we have to start jackhammering again. Maybe we'll do a little exploratory shaker tabling when we get done here. And it really doesn't do any good to try to clean this floor up too much, because we're just going to cover it with debris again. Sometimes it's hard to dig right here on the ground, so we'll probably call that about good enough. Alright, let's look at our progress. So we were able to straighten out this wall. As I said, we're trying to make a corner here, so we're going around this way. I kind of want to stay underneath this line of quartz and schist that's going on about a 50-degree angle, and it seems to shallow out over here, so it seems to come up and get steeper, so we want to end up that way. Alright, let's get our cart out of here, hope for the best. Come on, cart. Uh-oh, I don't know if it's rolling. I guess it's rolling. Come on, cart. We're going to put our shovel back up here where it belongs. Man. Alright, well we got 2 loads out today. I got some other work I need to do, so we're not going to go for another round of jackhammering. We'll do that next time. We have all our tools loaded up with the last ore cart full. We got to get this hoisted to the top. Then we're going to dump it and do a little bit of shaker table work. That should be fun. Everybody say Goldmine! All All right. Well, we're going to say that was a pretty productive day. We got 2 full carts out of the mine. So that's about 1,200 pounds of material. I'm going to spend some time with the shaker table, cleaning up a little bit, just seeing what we're up against. But you guys don't have to stick around for that. It's a holiday weekend. Get outside, do something fun. Come back and tell me about it.